All right, this is Dan Meehan for Fight News Australia, and today we have Josh Culibao, who takes on Seung Woo Choi at UFC 275 on June 12th Australian time. Josh, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just ready to fight. I'm super excited for this matchup, and yeah, I'm just over the waiting now. I just want to get in there and throw hands. So yeah, super excited.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of waiting, I mean, last time we caught up was actually a year ago to the day. So you were soaking in your first win over Sha Yilan. So what have you been up to since then?
Um, I've been training still. Don't get me wrong. I've still been training. But yeah, just things happen. COVID happens, lockdowns, and yeah, just a whole bunch of unfortunate events happened, and yeah, I couldn't fight when I wanted to. So I wanted to schedule a fight around the October November time frame. So I fought in May, yeah, October November, and then we had the stage 5 full restricted lockdown where we weren't able to leave our house unless it was a necessity, literally going to grab groceries or something like that. Like we couldn't leave within a 5 kilometer radius of our house. So yeah, it was full on, and then finally the lockdowns got lifted and the restrictions sort of eased up, and we started training again. They opened up the gyms, we were able to train again. Yeah, and then once we've opened up, I had planned to fight Damon Jackson, signed the contract and everything. So I was excited for that one too. You know, I was rearing to go, and then just so happened I caught COVID, and yeah, really did a number on me. So now we're fighting here now in June. So yeah, it's been a full year of just a lot of ups and downs, but we're here now. One more week, we're here now. So
Absolutely, and being that sort of the borders are open here in Australia, and you've got your sort of COVID infection out of the way now as well. So does it feel like the opportunities are sort of opening up for Australian fighters? Do you feel like maybe you can be a bit more active now?
yeah, for sure, 100%. There's no reason why we shouldn't be like that's why I wanted to get the ball rolling straight away at the beginning of the year, and yeah, just again unfortunate events, but yeah, is what it is. But yeah, excited to get the momentum going.
Absolutely, and before we get to this, the next fight, are you the type to sort of watch your fights back, and sort of how do you reflect on your first UFC win against Sha Yilan now that you've had some time to let it sink in?
Um, yeah, I've watched it back a few times. Yeah, look, I feel like it was a very safe approach. I approached that fight very safe. Where I feel like I had him hurt a few times where I could have gone out there and been a bit more aggressive and tried to put him away, but I felt like getting the win was the main priority instead of trying to go out there look flashy and then end up losing the fight. So yeah, the main priority for that one was just yeah, get that W under my belt and then get the ball rolling, and then get a bit more experience in that cage, and now it's time to really shine and show that entertaining side.
Yeah, and actually, in our previous interviews, you sort of touched on that. You sort of mentioned how you wish maybe you did a little bit more against Charles Jourdain, and maybe showed a bit more urgency against Sha Yilan. So, do you feel like now that you've got that sort of first UFC win that you can fight with a bit more freedom, like the monkey's kind of off the back?
Yeah, it is, but also it's the style of the opponent too. I feel like with Sha Yilan, I had to really stick to that game plan, or he was going to just ragdoll me the whole fight and hold me down, and win rounds by cage wrestling me the whole time or just laying on top of me. So I really had to I had to really be smart with that fight, where he had a pretty simple game plan to sort of slow the fight down and steal the rounds from me. So I had to play that fight smart. Where this fight, I feel Choi is going to come out aggressive, and he's going to look to hurt me and actually try to do damage and make it an actual fight. So I all strategies aside, I still think this is going to bring the more entertaining and more like I get to be myself a bit more in this fight. I feel like me and him match up very well, and yeah, I'm just excited for this matchup.
Absolutely, and yeah, as mentioned off the top, the opponent is Seung Woo Choi, and last time out you mentioned with Sha Yilan that you were having trouble finding some footage on his fights, but this time you've drawn a 6-fight UFC veteran, so there should be plenty to watch and study. So yeah, what do you think of the matchup and what he brings to the table?
He's good, man. He's until he made that little mistake with Alex Caceres, he should have been on a 4-fight win streak right now. So yeah, he's good. He's smashing everybody, and for me to take him out would put a massive feather in my cap. So I think he's a great fighter. I think he's very strong striking. He obviously knows that like his strength is the striking, so most people will try to take him out of his strength. So he's trained a lot of takedown defense and anti-grappling sort of style. I think he's super tough. I think he's good. Knows like everyone knows what they're going to try to do against a guy that's tall, rangy. You know what I mean? So yeah. But as an opponent, I still feel like he matches up like really, really well for my sort of style of fighting. So yeah.
Absolutely, and I guess where do you think a win over? I mean, like you say, he was close to a 4-fight win streak there. So where do you think a win over Choi would sort of put you in the division?
To be honest, I'm not really thinking about like where it really puts me, but like, man, if it would put me up there, it would definitely put me up there. It means I'd be, hopefully closer to getting a rematch with Charles Jourdain. Or fighting those top 20 guys, top 25, in the top 25 guys, I believe, if not the top 20 guys, if I get a win over Choi. But I don't really think about it too much. Like there's nothing, like it all falls apart if I don't win this fight. So it's sort of like no real point in thinking about where it really puts me until I get my hand raised.
Maybe leave that to us in the media then. That's the sort of stuff that we think about probably more than you guys do. Do you still sort of cross-train at all at freestyle with Alex Volkanovski, or have you sort of spent the whole camp at Igor? What's your training look like?
My whole camp has been at Igor's. This time around, because by the time my camp started and I was into the full swing of my camp, Volkanovski was and Joe were still. I think they were still in the States when my camp started. So yeah, so I just sort of like kept my routine and tried not to change it too much. But I did head down there a few times to obviously get some training in, but it hasn't been as regular as the past few times. Yeah, for sure.
All right, and UFC 275 is a big one for Aussie talent. We've got Jacob Malkoon and Jake Matthews and Jack Della Maddalena also on the card. Does it give you a bit of a boost having other Aussies in the in the hotel and on the card at all?
100%. I feel like us Aussies, I feel like we really band together, and even though we don't really train with each other or know each other on that level where we can hang out and stuff, I feel like even though we don't do that, but as Aussies, it's a bit different. Like we kind of click without having to, we just have that connection that you don't really need to explain anything, or you just have that connection. But it's exciting. We get all the J's. We got Jack, we got Jacob, we got Jake, and then you got Josh. So all the 4 J's fighting on UFC 275. So it's hectic.
Yeah, how about that? How crazy! And it must be nice to just have to travel to Singapore rather than all the way to the States.
Yeah, for sure. Singapore's a nice place. Singapore's a very nice place. It'll be close, and the time difference would only be like 2 hours. I'm pretty sure 3 hours from where I am, Sydney. So yeah, it's not much of a time difference to get used to the jet lag or whatnot.
Absolutely, it's a bit of a luxury, really, for a UFC fighter. So, when do you head over?
Monday. Fly over Monday.
Yeah, right. And is I guess the sort of fight week schedule any different over there to what you would normally sort of encounter in Vegas?
No, same schedule. It was a bit different on Fight Island when obviously we were fighting at like 4:00 in the morning, so the time schedule was a bit different then. But no, nothing different. Still your normal fight week.
And now that the UFC is kind of forging their sort of path back into Asia, obviously you come from a Filipino background. Do you think maybe there'd be scope for a UFC event there one day?
For sure, 100%. Filipinos love fighting. They love violence. So, and there's millions of us that love it. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Maybe if they could bring who could really headline a Filipino card. There's not. I don't think there's any other Filipinos besides myself in the UFC. So, well, full-blooded Filipinos that are in the UFC. So I'm not too sure who would even fill that card up. Maybe they'll just get a whole bunch of Asian fighters from Japan or China or wherever.
I'm sure plenty of Aussies would be happy to head over there rather than heading over to the States as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, obviously, it's a huge card. Before I let you go, I'll get your predictions for the title fights. Let's say so. Shevchenko versus Santos and Glover versus Jiri. Who do you reckon's gonna get up?
You can't not back Shevchenko. She's just an absolute machine. I think she gets this done. Clean performance. But in that main event, I don't know. I'm leaning towards Jiri just because he's the sort of up and coming fighter. He's hungry. He's he wants it, and you got that older guy who's been there, done that now. So maybe the experience might be the difference here, or the youth and athleticism might be the difference. So, but I'm still sort of leaning towards Jiri. We've never seen Jiri sort of go to the 5 rounds. So maybe Glover can sort of drag it out and bring it to the 5 rounds throughout the later rounds, and use his experience to sort of take over the fight. So I don't know. It's a really exciting fight, and it's just
Absolutely. And either type, do you sort of hang around and watch the rest of the card after your fight, or do you sort of have other engagements that you have to deal with after a fight normally?
No, 100%. I'm as much as I'm the UFC fighter, I'm also the UFC fan too. I'm a massive fan of the UFC. I watch all the cards, all the prelims. I watch the early prelims. Every weekend, whenever there's a card on, I'll put it on. It's always on. I'm a massive fan of the UFC. As much as it kind of blows my mind that I am a part of all of that when I do watch it, because I'm watching these guys fight, and then I'm just like, well, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm about to do. You know what I mean? So it's kind of surreal, but it's also it's so cool, being a part of that sort of that's watching it on TV and being like, yeah, that's what I'm about to do soon. So yeah, it's cool.
Absolutely. And before I let you go, do you have any sponsors or anyone you'd like to shout out? I'll hand the reins over to you.
Shout out to CMBT for always fueling me with all my all my nutrition and all my supplements and stuff, and also Athletes Nutrition, who always do my meals. I'm a bit picky eater, so they always hook me up, and just give a massive shout out to them too.
Awesome. Well, Josh, thank you so much for stopping by once again, and all the best at UFC 275.
Yes, thanks, Dan.